Hi, it's Thomas Gronnemark, the throwing coach. Here is my live throwing analysis of the game Manchester City against Arsenal in the Premier League. It was a match between two top teams, and there was a lot of interesting throwing stuff in this game. But first, let me introduce myself. I'm a professional throwing coach. I'm coaching clubs all around the world, been part of 14 titles in international football. I also have an online course for amateur and youth coaches where they can learn to improve their team's throw-ins. But let's go to the game here and let's start with Manchester City. First of all, Manchester City didn't have many throw-ins under pressure. I'll come to that later. And if you look at their throw-in possession on throw-ins under pressure, it was 40%, so 2 out of 5. And of course, you can't be satisfied with 40% because, especially from a top team like Manchester City, you want to perform better on your throw-ins. If we go to how many good situations did they come into, it was 0. And again, it was only 5 throw-ins, but I saw Manchester City put themselves into many bad situations. Of course, you can say that, oh, yes, it's world-class players. It's easier for world-class players to come out of bad situations. Yes, but it's still easier to come into a good situation instead. But let's take the highlights from Manchester City in this game. They had 2 throws where they played like okay out of that bad situation in each of these 2 here. So that's also the reason why they got 40% possession here. So, but again, the lowlights coming into a lot of bad situations themselves, and again, like I come to later, quite lucky that Arsenal didn't press more. Then we go to Arsenal, and they had a possession on 75%. They had a really few throw-ins in this game, and it was yeah mainly because Manchester City had a lot of possession and a lot of passes where they just kept the ball. And if you have so much possession in one team, there'll for sure be less throw-ins for you. But again, 75% sounds great, and it was also of course it was good. So, but still think there can be some improvement for Arsenal, especially in this game here. Then we come into the good situations. I think they came into good situations there in the 4 situations they had. So let's go to the highlights here, and I really like the throw in the 32nd minute where they had patience exploring different kinds of spaces and then took an inside diagonal pass. It didn't really go into a big chance or so, but I really like that throw in. So I think that was quite good. But you can also say that if we go to the lowlights, is that I think they were thinking too safely in some of their throw-ins, a little bit like return pass, even though it was a great return pass, but then just playing back to the central defenders, and so I think they could have been exploring the much more dangerous situations with their throw-ins instead. And then there was also one in the very first minute where Arsenal, I think it was Ben White, who just like threw it backwards. But Arsenal actually had a niner box, and that's where the niner is isolated 1-against-1 with a lot of space. They could have taken that, and a niner box, when you have a lot of space there, it's a low risk, high reward throw in, because even if you lose it there, you're losing it quite quite close to the opponent's goal. So I think they should have been taking that. And again, football is a low pressuring sport, so I also think that Arsenal missed some attacking throw-in situations in this game. And then another low light, and that's, I think that was a really big one from Arsenal here in this game, was defending Manchester City's throw-ins. Manchester City had 9 no pressure throw-ins, so it's just like where you just let the opposite team get the ball, and everybody knows that a team like Manchester City, if they first get the ball in the feet under control with no pressure, it's really hard to take the ball from them. And especially if you look at the possession here from Manchester City with only 40% possession coming into 0% good situations, at least in this game, I think Arsenal should have pressured much, much more here. Um, and of course, you can pressure in many, many different ways in and many different styles and so. But it's about knowing when is it good to press and when is it not good to press. So to cook it all down, I think Arsenal should have pressured much, much more. Because I think Manchester City was really vulnerable there. But again, this was my throw-in analysis of the match Manchester City against Arsenal. If you want to know more about my throwing coaching, either in the clubs, and I'm coaching all around the world, or you want to know more about my online courses, then you're welcome to go to throwinacademy.com. You can find me on all social media, so be sure to either connect or subscribe no matter where you see this. Have a fantastic day. Bye bye.